Well, hello there everybody, and welcome to my very first collections video. Was just kind of sitting around today wondering what I could do video-wise to keep things, to keep the variety going on the channel. Still got the X-Files thing going on, but I just wanted to do something new and something gaming related. Now that the favorite game series is up, I realize, gosh, I don't really have a lot of gaming stuff that I can do since my my purchases and everything have slowed down for a while. So I thought this would be as good a time as any to do a few of the collection videos. I'm starting with my Nintendo consoles, not necessarily because they're my favorite consoles or anything like that, but actually, to be honest with you, it's because they're my smallest collections, and I know I can do a couple of videos one after another and knock a few things out really quick. No offense to Nintendo or anything, but I think if you've watched any of my other gaming videos, you realize that Nintendo doesn't rank up there super high for me. And probably my two favorite Nintendo consoles would be the N64 and the Super Nintendo. My N64 collection is pretty measly, and you'll see that in a few videos from now. And the Super Nintendo, my other favorite console, I don't even own one, so... But anyway, all that aside, let's go ahead and jump on into this first one. It's going to be for the GameCube. My brief history with the GameCube goes as such. I can talk today, I promise. I've only owned a GameCube once, like officially owned one. And I only had it for like a month or two before I sold it to someone else, before I even ever hooked it up and used it. Prior to that, I had a GameCube on layaway several years ago. One of the ones that came with the Game Boy player, and oh gosh, I wish I would have ended up actually buying that one, and I wish I still owned that, because a Game Boy player would be amazing to have. But I ended up canceling that layaway before I ever came close to paying it off. So now I play my GameCube games on the Wii. I have a red Wii, and I have just a standard black GameCube controller, and I think just one GameCube memory card, and that's just kind of been where I've done my very little bit of GameCube gaming. I'm going to go through these games one by one and mention a little about them, but I haven't played much of this. So far, my time with the GameCube has been very lacking. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into this. This is all going to be alphabetical order until we get to the very last thing I have to show off, because it's a big box game. So let's start, at the beginning. So my first GameCube game to show off here is Animal Crossing. When I decided I was going to start getting GameCube games for my Wii, this was one of those games that I'd long been curious about, and everybody talks about how much they love Animal Crossing, so I picked up Animal Crossing. I've played a little bit of it. It was interesting. It was a little out there. It did remind me, like a lot of people will say, as sort of like a kiddie version of The Sims, with a lot of, just really basic actions involved. And I think that was the same thing that happened to me with Sims. Same thing that happened with this is what happened to me with Sims, is I just got bored of it really, really quickly. So no offense to anybody who loves Animal Crossing. I'm glad to have the game in my collection, but I just couldn't stand running around doing little quests over and over again. Anyway, next game up would be a game that I'm not even sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, because I just tried to look it up. It's either Baton Kaitos or Baton Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean. I wanted to know what games on the GameCube were like must-have RPGs, and this one is one that always came up on lists, so I had to get it. I have not tried it or Baton Kaitos Origins. I haven't tried either one of them, but these were two that I definitely wanted to grab while I had the chance. Next up, this is a big one. This is a very popular game with a lot of people on the GameCube. Originally slated for the N64. This is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Have not played this one yet, but I'm looking forward to the day when I'll get a chance to sit down with it, and hopefully it's as awesome as everyone always says it is. Always a big fan of the F-Zero series, so I had to get GX for the GameCube, but I haven't played it yet. It's been so long since I played any F-Zero game. My only experience with it is the original on the Nintendo, or the Super Nintendo, but I loved it back in the day. As a Final Fantasy fan, I had to have Crystal Chronicles. I do believe there's at least a second Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube, so I'll track that down someday. I just was very, very curious as to how this held up alongside the rest of the Final Fantasy series. This was kind of a cheap pickup once before, and I'd heard a lot about this game. It's Geist. Sort of like a first-person shooter, but with the ability to like take possession of things, other people or characters or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, it always sounded like something that I would be interested in. This one's a funny one to me. This is an unopened sealed copy of Gun for the GameCube. I don't think I've had a chance to really mention this game before, but I really, really enjoyed this game, even though Red Dead Redemption, when it came out later on the 360 and the PS3, blew the concept of this away. But before that game came out, Gun was like one of my favorite open world Western games. So I have a copy of this for every possible way that you can get it, except for the PC so far. That's why this is unopened, because I already play it on like 360 and PS2. Now we come to a couple of my highlight titles, and these are from the Legend of Zelda series. This is the collector's edition, the promotional disc. It comes with the original Zelda, Zelda 2, which is the one I've never played, and then of course it has Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. When I play Ocarina of Time these days, this is what I'm playing it on. It's on the GameCube. Oh, and I should show off, I do not have a book for this. I believe that it comes with a book. I'm hoping to find a book for that to kind of complete the copy. Then, of course, we have Wind Waker. It's supposed to be a very, very good game. Looks very, very different. Of course, this is a decade-old game or something like that. So there's not much to really be talking about that anymore, but I do wonder how it's going to be like for me when I go to play it. And I deal with the Toon Link animation style. This was one of the games that I wanted a GameCube for, and even after I got the Wii, I was like, I want the GameCube version of it over the Wii version. Now, as a completionist type guy, I'll probably pick up the Wii version of it, but it's Twilight Princess. I don't know, this is a Zelda game, I haven't played it, but this is a Zelda game that seems to be very polarizing, kind of like Wind Waker was, due to its graphics. This one is like, a lot of people think that it's really, really epic and amazing, and a lot of other people think that it's a poor or a weak entry into the series. I just hope that it's good, because I've put a lot of stake on that particular game in the series. This is another one of those games that sometimes gets mentioned when I asked about GameCube RPGs. This is Lost Kingdoms. I do believe that there's a sequel to this, and I'm on the lookout for that one. But any RPG that might give me a decent amount of gameplay time with an interesting enough story is going to be good in my book. So I picked that one up. Now we're going to see, I think, one of the few Mario games that I even have in all of this collection. It's Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. After giving a little bit of a shot to Mario Golf on the N64 and not being all that impressed, I'm not so sure what I'm going to think about this game. It's golf, it's Mario, it's whatever, but I think I got that at a decent price, so I guess I can't complain too much. I do want to get Mario Kart, even though I'm not a super huge Mario Kart fan. I do kind of want to get the Mario Kart game, which was Double Dash. Eventually. This was one that I had to get when I started collecting for the GameCube. This is Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, the redo of the original Metal Gear Solid using a better looking graphics engine, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be more like the graphics of Metal Gear Solid 2 or if it's brand new just for this particular version of the game. but it's kind of like some games that are going to be coming up here in a little bit anyway that were kind of redone on the GameCube. So I had to get this as much as I love Metal Gear Solid, especially the first one. Now this is a bit of a disappointment for me. As much as I love Super Metroid, I was really excited to try the Metroid games for the GameCube, and then I had my chance to get Metroid Prime and play it, and I knew it was a first-person shooter. I knew it had been changed to that for the sake of the new graphics capabilities for the series and all that, but I just didn't really like the way that it translated into an FPS. It didn't have the same kind of, not environments, obviously the environments are different, but the atmosphere to it, the mood of it just didn't fit the series. I will always love Super Metroid and, like, say, Metroid Fusion, and I always forget the name of the other one that was on the Game Boy Advance, but those were a couple of good ones because they were still done in the same graphical style. So, you know, to each their own, but I'm just not a big fan of the way that Metroid translated into the new 3D capabilities of the consoles, although I still want to get 2, which I think is called Echoes, and I want to get the third one, and I want to get that trilogy that was released for the Wii, even though that's a pricey one to get. Now, I was mentioning with Metal Gear Solid about a change for the GameCube in an older series. This is a series that goes that direction here, too, on the GameCube. This, of course, is Resident Evil 0. Chronologically, it comes first, so I believe it does anyway. That's why they called it 0. This was planned to come out on something else, if I remember right. And then it got switched over, and it was only on the GameCube. Haven't played this. Love Resident Evil games, but as old as they are and how gaming has changed so much here lately, I'm not sure how well I'll get into some of these old games, or this, which is the GameCube version of the original Resident Evil done in a different graphical style. I think these are kind of on par more with like Resident Evil 4, or maybe even at least Code Veronica, something along those lines. But I haven't tried this one yet either. Said I'm woefully behind as far as giving these games a try. Here was another one of the games that I absolutely wanted to find when I started collecting GameCube stuff, especially because the Dreamcast version of this game is really hard to find without spending an arm and a leg. This is Skies of Arcadia Legends, sort of a what would you call it? I'm not sure if it's going to say anything on here. It's the same game. It's the director's cut. So it's got new gameplay. The graphics are overhauled, upgraded a little bit. And it's, like I said, the Dreamcast version of this game is something I still look for to this day, but it's always really pricey. So I can't wait to give that one a shot. This one was kind of I guess I'd call it a throwaway purchase, but this is Soulcalibur II. I'm not a big fighting game fan anymore, but because of the really cool special or extra characters that you got on this for each of the different systems out at the time, I really wanted to get the Nintendo one because, of course, it's got my man Link here in it. If I remember right, Microsoft's, like the Xbox version of this, got Spawn, and the Sony version of it got Heihachi from the Tekken series, which was really weird to see like a rival fighting games character in there. I definitely think that Nintendo got the better end of the deal on this. I think Soulcalibur III was the one where they had Star Wars characters in each console's version. I don't have Soulcalibur III. But speaking of Star Wars, thanks for the segue here, I have Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron II. As much as I love Rogue Squadron for the N64, one of the handful of titles for the N64 that I loved aside from Ocarina of Time, I had to check out the sequel, and it's pretty good. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but I did sample this a little bit. It looks really, really nice, and it deserves some more time somewhere down the road. Alright, we're getting down to the last 7 games here. Oops. This one here was one that I had to get after reading about how it was going to be an N64 game that was called something like Dinosaur Planet or Dinosaur something, and somehow or another Nintendo changed it around to Star Fox Adventures. Now, I've played a little bit of this and it wasn't too bad, but I do have to agree, I've never been a Star Fox fan. I've never played any of the other Star Fox games, you know, the actual flying space shooting type games. But because this was a more of like an action adventure style game, I wanted to get it. It wasn't too bad, but the Star Fox aspect of it is kind of just tacked on there for sales due to the name recognition. Alright, well, I mentioned earlier with Mario Golf, it was probably one of my only Mario games in here, but I guess I completely blanked on the fact that I do have Super Mario Sunshine, which is an okay game. I've played a little bit of this because I just wanted to see what it was like. Not having very much of a good experience with Super Mario 64, I wanted to see if this was as difficult as I found Super Mario 64 to be, and it wasn't quite as much. The water aspect and all that was neat, but I did get a little tired of it after a little bit. And my copy here has got one of these add-in things. Need to clean up a mess, but I don't have a actual manual for Super Mario Sunshine. Now here's another game with the word Super in the title, but this is Super Monkey Ball 2. If I remember right, I got this as some sort of a contest winning from the N64 Forever Forum. I do believe that I did. But I've had a chance to play some Super Monkey Ball or Monkey Ball games in the past, and they were alright. This could probably be fun, throw in, play for a little bit, take it out kind of game. I don't think I'd ever sit down and try to complete the whole thing. Then we have a couple of games here from Capcom, games I always wanted to give a shot to, so I got both of them, but I haven't played them yet. That's Beautiful Joe and Beautiful Joe 2. I just kind of like the art style look of them. I like the you know, the cartoonish look, the side-scrolling thing. For some reason, I've struck across a couple games in my day that were modern, but harkened back to the old days of side-scrolling, and the Beautiful Joe series was one that struck my fancy for some reason. My games are going to try to throw themselves in the floor here, which is just awesome. Alright, we're down to the last two games. The last game in a standard case, Wario World. Saw some stuff about this online and just decided that I wanted to pick it up. Maybe because I'm kind of anti-Mario. Not really, but he's just not my favorite. When I see something with Wario in it, I kind of jump on it. Because, I don't know, I just kind of feel like Wario some days. Going out into the world and up against Mario over some silly things. So I only have three more things, honestly, to show off here. I did see this sitting over on my GameCube game, so I thought I wanted to share this. But this is my action replay game, my action replay disc for the GameCube. I've made no bones about it over the course of my videos here and online for a long time. I'm not very good at games, but I don't feel like that should keep me from experiencing a full game, especially storyline games. So I get the cheat code devices, I get the cheat codes, I get whatever kind of advantage I can so that I can complete a game and feel like I got my money's worth out of it. So I got a action replay for the GameCube, which has helped me out a little bit with some of my Zelda stuff here lately, because I've never beat Ocarina of Time, and I plan on beating it, and if I have to cheat to do it, so be it. And the last two things to show off, they go together. In fact, I bought these together for $40. They're both brand new, never been used before. The game here is still sealed and unopened, but this is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat in the box with the bongos. I wanted to get this one. There's Donkey Konga, if I remember right. Donkey Konga is the actual music game that uses the bongos, but this one is the actual like Donkey Kong style game, like Donkey Kong Country. But you use the bongos to make Donkey Kong move, to have him slam the ground and do attacks and whatever. So my original intention was buy this and then someday pick up some extra bongos for some two-player madness. Maybe even someday maybe getting my daughter to sit down and play a game like this with me. But I found an eBay deal for this, and like I said, it may not come through on the video, but this is the seal up here, the seal down on the bottom. It's all sealed, never been opened. And it was in, like I said, an eBay deal for $40. And it also came with its own pair of extra DK bongos. On this one, there is no seal on it, but I've already taken a peek inside. The bongos are there. So as far as I'm concerned, $40 seems like a good deal. And that's one I definitely, like I said, I want to sit down and play it and see how it plays and see if my daughter might get into it. Could be fun. Could be a fun father-daughter little thing there. So anyway, guys, that wraps up my GameCube collection video. I don't believe I have anything else here in the house that's GameCube related. I have a tendency to grab only what's on the shelf and not think to look elsewhere. But I do believe that's it. But far from being the end of my GameCube collection, there's a lot of games out there I still want to get really, really badly for the GameCube. So, but thanks a lot for watching this video. Stay tuned. I plan on trying to do both my Wii and my DS/3DS games collections right after this one. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in those next videos.